Come on, join us. It's the Empower Talk. Empower Show. The Empower Talk. The Empower Show.
Hey, welcome to EmpowerTalk podcast. Do you do that comparison thing where you're always looking at the achievement of others? You're seeing how wonderful they're achieving tasks or the pace or the energy that they bring to their lives. And every so often, and if you keep looking at that, it really does begin to take a little shine off of who you are. Listen, it's very easy to do that because as human beings, it's easier to look outward than it is inward. Everyone's on a journey. Everyone's trying to do things. Everyone has plans and visions and dreams, and everyone's busily trying to get to the next of who they are. But if we spend too much time comparing ourselves with others, then we're going to find ourselves fighting a little resistance, and we have to fight negative feelings about who we are when actually what you have inside you is as amazing as anyone else. What we don't see are the struggles. The human experience is the same. Everyone goes through the same cycle of emotions. Everyone does not just do things so easily. It might look effortlessly to you, or it might look effortless when people achieve, but really everyone goes through the same thing. We plan and we measure and we evaluate and we fail and we stop and we try again. We have a tendency to look at the end product and not look at the process. I think a person is wonderful. I think a person should be celebrated not just for achieving the thing, but for the things they go through in order to achieve it. So your greatness and your ability to stand amongst all of your peers and all of your counterparts and be as fluent and be as brilliant as they are is simply because you have to believe in yourself, that your giftingness and your abilities are matched and you can hang with the best of them. But when you spend too much time kind of looking over the fence and looking at what others are doing, it really begins to tarnish really your desire to be great and your desire to do things in a higher way. We have a tendency to do it, and so we have to kind of control that. Just like with any other habits in our lives, we have to control things. We have to understand them and control them so that we don't spend too much energy looking at what's happening outside of us and not nurturing and stirring what's inside of us. This is going to be the key. Everyone's on a journey, right? Everyone's trying to do things and everyone has a plan. And so we do not know, you do not know, just like you say to other people, if you ever knew what I went through just to get this done, or you don't know the late nights and you don't know the hesitation and the nervousness and the fear that you've had to go through. It happens that way for everyone. Every human being, whether they confess it, declare it, own up to it or not, go through the same process of achievement. Now you get better at managing those moments, right? Because things come into our lives to help us to learn how we can be progressive and how we can be greater and how we can be better. And we're always on this path of improvement. And so we get better at managing those things that kind of take us down the negative things. And we get better at not buying too much or spending too much time focusing on comparing ourselves with other people. First of all, it's an absolute impossibility to compare yourself with someone who has not the set of circumstances, the life story, the experience, the lived experiences that you have. And so sometimes when we do that comparison thing, we really set ourselves up for a tremendous time of sorting our thoughts out, because everyone's life is so different. The resources that we have available, the people that we have in our lives, the circumstances that surround us are all very different. And so what we need to get in the habit of doing is just celebrating success, period. And not necessarily comparing success, but just celebrating the fact that we do have success. And so we spend so much time looking outward, yet we've got to spend more energy, because sometimes when you look outward and compare, it saps you of strength. It does. It saps you of energy and synergy. It saps your excitement and your ability to do greater, because we have now devoted a certain portion of our time to looking at what's happening around us and not nurturing and stirring the very gifts that we have. And so I've never been the kind of person to subscribe an absolute formula for something. It will be easy to say, stop comparing yourself and stop doing that. What I'm going to ask you to do is to try to stop spending so much time focusing on others and divert that time and revert that time to focusing on just being the best that you can be. So plan your goals and your objectives and move through the motions of doing them and take pride. Celebrate yourself. Many times I think we want other people to celebrate us, and you deserve to celebrate yourself because only you know the kinds of hurdles you've had to overcome and the kinds of mountains you've had to climb and the kinds of criticism or setbacks that you've had to recover from. We're all in a state of recovery. But by comparing yourself to others really limits your ability to really be everything that you're supposed to be. So how do we get over that? How do we deal with this comparison thing when everything else looks better than the thing that you're doing? Everything looks brighter and it looks more accomplished and again it looks effortless. That's very, very natural. But one of the things that you may not realize is that while you're showing so much admiration to the work of others, those same individuals are showing the same amount of admiration to you. You just don't know it. Because we all spend time respecting and appreciating. We don't always verbalize it, but everyone that's in your circle, that's doing what you do, that's working in the industry or the area with the resources that you're working with, they all look at each other with a level of admiration. One of the keys then to help us manage this moment of comparison, we always do this comparison thing, is to simply do this. Let's just begin to appreciate. Let's just begin to appreciate the diversity of gifts, the diversity of intelligence, the diversity of ideas, that not everyone's thinking is the same. I think when we move more into the celebration and the appreciation of others, we spend less time pulling ourselves apart, that perhaps what we're doing is not quite as good as. I'm here to remind you that you are that good, that you're not only good, you're good enough. And even without the kinds of adulation and respect and attention you might get, you've got to convince yourself and tell yourself every day by the things that you accomplish, because no one knows the steps that you've taken. No one knows what you've had to overcome. No one knows what you've had to fight to make these things happen. But when we spend too much time comparing ourselves to what's happening on the other side of us, we then lose the time to focus on ourselves. So let's appreciate the people around you. Be gracious, be kind, be celebratory of other people's accomplishments, because then it fills your heart with the kind of energy that allows you then, because I believe whatever you sow into the universe is what you receive. And so as you celebrate others, it's going to release other people to celebrate you for who you are. So try not, I'm not going to tell you to stop doing it, but try not to spend too much energy on the comparison thing, because you are so unique, you are so different, you are so wonderful in who you are. And only the people that are close to you will ever see how incredible you really are. But you are that. But sometimes when we spend too much time focusing on others, we tend not to focus on the things that we've done. So try it this week. Try this EmpowerTalk position. Try just appreciating and celebrating. Spend time just looking for the good in others, than looking at what others are doing and perhaps feeling indifferent because you're doing it, because everyone is on that journey. So that's what I want to share with you on this episode of EmpowerTalk. Listen, try not to do the comparison thing, but try to push that energy into who you are and to continue to encourage and strengthen and be motivated by all the things that you do, because you really are as good as you think, even when nobody celebrates you. And I need you to understand and know that you are good enough. See you next time on another episode of EmpowerTalk with PJ Edmond. See you soon.